And we're back now on CEC TV with Kuna Tavlin, the Senior Policy and Advocacy Advisor for the CEC. Kuna, you work to get the word out and interface with the government on issues. So what kind of initiatives have you been working on lately?
Yeah, so on behalf of Council for Exceptional Children, I represent our membership when we speak to folks on Capitol Hill, the Department of Education, and other agencies, sometimes the White House, to make sure that that special educator voice is represented in the work that they're considering. So what we really target is the education committees in Congress. Those are the folks who write the bills that oversee federal education policy. And then we also work really closely with the Office of Special Education Programs at the Department of Education, and also the other parts of the department that work on special education, whether it's research or other parts of other agencies. And some of the things that we're really focusing on right now, I think most pressing for our members and our field, are teacher shortages, educator shortages. They really run across kind of the span of services, from early interventionists through administrators, higher education faculty. And so we have been having a lot of discussions with the department about how to bolster that workforce, and then when we turn to Congress, ways to fund some of that work as well. The federal funding is a really critical part of the puzzle at the state and local level as well. So not only ensuring that there is funding, but also that it's being targeted to high needs areas, including special education, and also that we're looking at the quality of preparation and training as well, because we know special education is a very specialized profession, and if we want folks to succeed, to do well with their students and their infants and toddlers, their families, and we want them to stay in the profession, then they're really going to need that high quality preparation just to begin with, a good foundation to stand on.
Certainly a lot of work, a lot of people that you need to get in touch with and advocate for. The organizations and stakeholders that you work with, how do you collaborate with them?
Yeah, so we work really closely with a lot of other special education and disability stakeholders. It's a very natural fit, and we're really committed to being a unified voice. When we have mixed messages going to Congress or going to the Department of Education, I think they're less likely to take us seriously. But when they see cohesion within the field, then I think they understand, okay, they have worked already on the hard part of identifying the problems and the solutions, and so we can move with more confidence. But what I also love is kind of our third-party validator collaborators. So we work really closely, for example, with the AASA, the School Superintendents Association, and they're not steeped in special education, but IDEA funding is huge, really critically important to their budgets. And so they really put a lot of weight behind IDEA funding. And we have other collaborators as well that are in that kind of, not in the special education space, but in the general education space, or more broadly, the civil rights space, that join with us to amplify our message, and I find that to be extremely important.
So, and as you mentioned, very important to get on the same page when you're dealing with different stakeholders. How can educators and advocates get involved in supporting your efforts or in helping on state, local, national level?
So we try to make it as easy as possible. So if you go to the Policy and Advocacy section of our website, we have a lot of different options to choose from. There is a weekly newsletter that I write called the Policy Insider that keeps folks up to date with what's happening in Washington, D.C. At critical parts of the process, especially of the funding process, we will prompt our members through Policy Insider, sometimes through social media if we really want to amplify, to write into their members of Congress. And that sounds a little bit intimidating, but we've set it up so I write the letter ahead of time. You can review it. If you like it, just click and send. The website can figure out who your members are. You don't have to do a lot of work there. As long as you know your address, you're good to go. We also have an opportunity for an in-person advocacy. Every year we do what's called a Special Education Legislative Summit, and it has its own website, and it is the Special Education Legislative Summit.org website. And you don't have to be a member to attend cells. You don't have to be a member to write to Congress through our website, but those are benefits that we do provide for members, but also for other interested stakeholders. And that in-person event is a collaboration with the Council for Administrators of Special Education, CASE, our largest division, and it's a chance to really impact on the ground what's happening in Congress. So we do that annually, and we have delegations from almost every state go and talk to their members of Congress about special education. One of the most important things that practitioners bring to the table is that real expertise. In Congress, members and their staff are responsible for hundreds and hundreds of issues, and so they don't have a lot of depth and expertise. So being able to hear from the folks in their state or their district who do have that expertise is really critical to driving these conversations.
I'm sure very important just to reach out to most members of Congress, keep bugging them. I think it's a very important thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Squeaky wheel.
Yes. Thanks so much for joining us, Kuna.
It was my pleasure.
You're watching CEC TV.